us live now from Beijing. Katrina, so tell us now a bit more about how China is responding to Trump's actions.
Well, China is calling all of these actions deplorable. It says that Trump is acting unilaterally with these protectionist measures that will ultimately damage the global trading system. And when it comes to China in particular, Beijing says that Trump is using fentanyl as a pretext for targeting Beijing, saying that it is doing what it can to stem the tide of the illegal drug into the US. And of course, China, in addition to these criticisms, is responding with its own action. And the main one takes effect today. It started Monday midnight local time, and that is extra levies on US imports of coal, crude oil, liquefied natural gas, and farming equipment into China. That's 10 to 15% starting today on Monday. In addition to this, China is suing the US in the World Trade Organization. It's sanctioning 2 US companies. It's tightening its control of the export of rare earth minerals, including tungsten. And lastly, it's launching an antitrust probe into the US tech giant Google.
Yeah, Katrina, and these actions have been described as restrained. So what message is China really sending to the US here?
I think it can be described as restrained because these extra levies, they only impact about $14 billion worth of US imports into China. And that's not a huge proportion when you consider that China buys about $160 billion worth of goods from the US every year. So I think the goal here is not to inflict maximum damage. It's really about showing Washington what it can potentially do, a taste of what it can do if Trump continues on with this trade war. And in terms of messages, there are really 2 main messages. The first, China does not want this trade war. It does not want to engage in this. It does not want to see more tariffs levied. But if the Trump administration goes forward, it will respond in kind with its own tit-for-tat measures. That's the first message. The second message is that this is not the same Beijing that the Trump administration dealt with during Trump's first term. Back then, Trump levied all these tariffs, and Beijing really was unprepared. It scrambled to respond. This time, Beijing has been spending the last 4 years quietly building up its trade war munitions chest. It's been building up mechanisms to better respond. It's been studying its own leverage and possible US pressure points. So what Beijing wants to tell the US is that if you go forward, we can potentially inflict much more damage on US companies and the US if provoked.
All right, Katrina Yu, live for us here in Beijing. Katrina, thank you.